What's going on, guys? I'm Alejandro Mendoza, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing something similar to my last video. I'm going to be discussing something similar to my last video, which was on why Ty picked Davis to be leader. But this time, it's obviously going to be focusing on Davis and Matt. In it, I'm basically just going to go over the similarities between Matt's development when it came to learning about friendship and Davis's development. It's not going to be about why Matt accepted him to be a leader or something like that. It's just more about the similarities among their development. Now, Digimon Adventure Tri Symbiosis did just recently come out, so I am planning on doing a full review on the movie and just me giving my overall thoughts on it, what I liked about it, what I disliked, and I will be posting that, I hope, pretty soon. But I already had this video in the making, so I'm gonna publish this one first. And then my Symbiosis review should be coming up relatively soon, hopefully. And so before we get into the video, I really quickly want to state my reasons why I'm making it. I realize that this might be probably, I'm guessing, kind of frustrating to some people because it's oh, we don't want to hear your reasons. But I think this has kind of become a habit for me to kind of explain why I'm doing a video. So if you guys want me to say stop doing this, stop saying my reasons, just tell me in the comments. I'd be fine with the feedback. It might take me a while to actually get over this habit of mine, but just tell me in the comments down below if you think I should stop explaining my reasons for doing a video. But I'm still gonna do it at least right now. So there were basically two main reasons why I'm doing this video. The first is just basically because it kind of fits in the sense it's kind of fitting for me to do a video on Davis and Matt, since obviously the last video I made was on Davis and Ty, and Matt is also Davis's predecessor, just like Ty was. Obviously Davis is Matt and Ty's successor since he has both the Digi-Eggs of Courage and Friendship. So since I did obviously a video on Ty and Davis, although that one was more geared towards why Ty picked Davis to be the leader, not so much on the development, I figured I should do one on Matt. So that's one reason why I'm doing this video. The next one is because I recently actually got into a podcast called Lost in Translation Mon, and during one of their videos that was on the episode where Davis got the Digi-Egg of Friendship, it really inspired me because the two hosts, May and Jay, more specifically Jay, he talked about how in the episode Davis didn't, he felt that Davis didn't really show anything that really proved himself worthy of the Digi-Egg of Friendship. And I went back and I watched the episodes myself, and I was I could see obviously how you could interpret that Davis didn't really learn anything, because in the Japanese episode, in the Japanese version of it, Davis is very unsure about himself. He's I'm not sure what friendship is, and even at the end he's really unsure about what he accomplished. And surprisingly, in the English version, it actually states the reason for why Davis got the Digi-Egg of Friendship more clearly. It actually states it a lot better in the English version, I feel. But both versions, I feel, do try to convey the same message. And upon rewatching them, I really saw something that I didn't see before as a kid. So yeah, that's why that's the other reason why I wanted to make this video. If you guys are interested in checking out that podcast, the Lost in Translation Mon podcast, I would recommend it, because I feel the two hosts are because they're going over every Digimon season and Digimon Adventure Tri, a lot of things Digimon related. They're going through the seasons, they're critiquing them, they're giving their opinions on them, and I feel they do a very good job of that. So if you guys do want to check them out and you have the time, emphasis on time, because the videos do get the videos are pretty long. If you if you're not caught up with the podcast already, I would recommend doing it, because they, I feel, give good perspectives on Digimon. But with that being said, when I looked into the scene a bit deeper where Davis got the Digi-Egg of Friendship, which is kind of ironic considering that Davis is such a simple character. I actually saw something more than just what Davis actually learned. I saw I obviously saw what Davis learned that I feel that I saw what Davis learned when I watched the episode, but also when watching it, like I really began to like see like kind of this this similarity to what Davis learned during that episode to what Matt learned during the Dark Masters arc. So yeah, with all that being said, let's get into the similarities between Davis and Matt's development when it comes to friendship. Now, starting off, I'm going to be talking about Matt because, like, obviously, like, he's Davis's predecessor, and it would probably just be best to talk about him first. Like, I'm going to go over his development during the Dark Masters arc, just like, you know, specifically the Dark Master arc, like, not his development as a whole throughout the season, just during the Dark Master arc, like, what he was going through, what he learned, and ultimately, you know, basically what happened. And I'll do the same with Davis after I get through Matt. And once I've gone through both of them, I'll do a comparison between the two and like give like and explain my thoughts on like, you know, where I see the similarities between both their developments. And that's where I'll get like a lot more depth, because like these right now are basically going to be summaries of what each one of them went through and what they learned. So yeah, so like let's begin with Matt then. So obviously, during the Dark Master arc, Matt was really struggling with the fact that TK had grown up and, like, you know, TK no longer needed Matt basically to watch over him or protect him. And Matt also basically felt that everyone else had also grown up and changed for the better, but he himself had just remained the same. And really because, like, he saw himself as being, like, you know, not changing at all, he wanted, obviously, to better himself. And that's why he went away from the group to try and obviously find himself. And but because of the fact that he wanted to change, obviously that led to Cherrymon obviously manipulating Matt into Cherrymon tricking Matt into thinking that in order for him to become stronger, he had to fight Tai. And you know, that of course leads to the battle between Matt and Tai, and along with Metal Garurumon and War Greymon, and like, you know, like that, and also Matt himself also like stated like during their conversation like with Cherrymon where he was like he's like not even sure what friendship is. Like he expresses that like he doesn't even know if like friendship actually exists. Like a Cherrymon like points out, he's like you yourself don't even know if friendship is a real thing, do you? And yeah, so like obviously the fight between Matt and Tai happens, and before they can actually really hurt each other, Homeostasis possesses Kari and interferes with the battle, and basically tells all the Digidestined about the past, about how the Digivices and the Digimon were created, and basically explains to them why they were picked to be the Digidestined. So after that, obviously Tai and Matt stop fighting, and Tai is ready to welcome Matt back into the group, but Matt, like, he decides on his own, like I can't rejoin the group just yet. You know, I still need to find myself, because like he feels like that he obviously doesn't really like know who he is yet. Like he feels like that he needs to discover who he is as a person, but he also like says that he feels that he needs to try and basically find what friendship really means, because when he's like leaving Tai and the others, he states like, you know, I'm not even sure what true friendship really is. So, like, you know, it's basically his quest to discover himself along with to try and discover what friendship really means. So, like, you know, obviously Matt goes off on his own. He returns, like, really quickly to help defeat Puppetmon. But, like, you know, then he goes off on his own again. And the next time we see Matt is in the Dark Cave, where, like, you know, he's obviously having very negative thoughts where he's like thinking like, you know, that the others don't need him, that TK doesn't need him, that Tai is a better brother than him, and he's just like feeling like that he has no place in the group anymore, and that the others wouldn't need him. So like, you know, he's just like sinking into darkness. Basically, he's sinking into darkness. Like we even like see that like some shots of him falling into darkness, and like, you know, it just represents that he just feels like so alone and just feels like there's no place for him in the group. And before he can actually fall into the darkness, though, Gabumon obviously gets him out of it by biting him and, like, you know, then telling him, like, you know, like, it doesn't matter, like, you know, if TK admires Tai. It doesn't matter if you're different from Tai. like you're the only Matt there is, like, you know, you're TK's only real big brother, and that you know, like, that Matt isn't alone basically, because, like, you know, Matt states, like, you know, that he feels alone. So, like, Gabumon is like, you know, like, you have me, like, I'm your partner, I'll always be there for you. And like, yeah, with Gabumon saying that, like, you know, Matt, like, breaks down in a sense, and he's like, you know, like, Matt, like, tells Gabumon, like, I always put up this, like, front to, like, make myself seem strong, because, like, I don't want people, like, to basically see my weakness. But like, you know, he, like, admits to Gabumon that he feels, like, very lonely, and, like, he reveals some, like, all these things about his past and stuff. And because of that, like, Gabumon just, like, hugs Matt, and he, like, you know, Matt realizes with Gabumon's help, like, Matt realizes that he isn't alone, that he has a place in the group, and, you know, he finally really discovers what true friendship is, and that, like, everybody else, Tai, Sora, TK, like, all of them are truly his friends. Like, you know, it's not like some illusion or anything like that. It's not like some there's no, like, they really are truly his friends. So after Matt learns this, you know, he obviously rejoins Tai and the others, and fights against Paimon and Apocalymon. And that's basically, you know, where Matt's character arc ends. So that was Matt's development. Like, you know, it was him basically questioning what friendship truly is, and him wondering who he was and his role in the group. And by the end of it, like, you know, he did actually discover, like, you know, his place in the group, and that everybody really was his friend, and he discovered what true friendship was. So with Matt's out of the way, let's get into Davis's. Now, during episode 11 of O2, you know, where Davis gets the degree of friendship, Davis's conflict in the episode is addressed very early during the episode. Although, like, I think, upon rewatching it, I see actually, like, a few more sides to that conflict. But I'll get into that a bit later, like, once I actually explain it. So, basically, like, the reason, like, Davis's conflict in the episode is that he is, like, basically questioning himself and, like, thinking, like, you know, like, he's thinking, can I actually fight Agumon? Because he doesn't want to hurt Agumon, because Agumon is Tai's partner. So, now, like I said, during my last video, I talked about how I felt that, like, you know, Davis, like, not wanting to fight Agumon was kind of contradictory to his character. Because before this, like, you know, Davis and the others, all of them were willing to obviously fight against innocent Digimon that had dark rings on them. Like, they knew that they were innocent Digimon, but, like, you know, they never hesitated. Like, Davis never had a moment of hesitation where he was like, oh, this is it. He's like, where it's like, oh, this is an innocent Digimon. Like, I don't know if I can fight this. Like, Davis never had, like, a scene like that. None of the characters actually did. None of the characters did. And, you know, Davis obviously was, like, probably one of the first ones to always, like, jump into battle. And, like, you know, like, was the one to, like, always, like, fight first and try to free the Digimon. So, like, you know, like, that's why I felt, like, I still do feel like that. Like, this whole scene is kind of contradictory to Davis. But, upon rewatching it, I do see where, like, now, like, that it makes a lot more sense than I previously thought it did. Because, like, while it does kind of contradict Davis's character in the sense that, you know, Davis was always willing to fight to free innocent Digimon, like, it does actually kind of fit Davis's character to be reluctant to fight Agumon. Because, like I said, this isn't, like, a random, ordinary innocent Digimon. Like, this is Tai's Agumon. This is Tai's, you know, partner, Tai's best friend, basically. And Davis, like, obviously, like, he sees that because Tai is obviously Davis's friend and also a mentor figure to him and kind of an idol to Davis, I'd say. And he obviously knows that Agumon is Tai's partner. So, like, obviously Davis wouldn't want to hurt that because he's not only, you know, Tai's partner and friend, but Davis would also likely see Agumon as his friend as well. Because even though Davis, like, doesn't really know Agumon too well, because I think they only really, like Davis, like, knows Agumon is there. Like, obviously in the first episode, Agumon says, like, you know, to Davis and Beamon, like, you know, that they're going to be, like, the ones to defeat the Digimon Emperor. But, like, other than that, like, you know, Davis and Agumon, like, they don't really have, like, too much interaction, obviously. And, but despite that, though, Davis would basically consider Agumon a friend because like I said before, this is Ty's Agumon, and Ty to Davis is, he's one of his friends and kind of an idol to him too. And not only that though, but he also Davis, like, as we see, is someone who really values his friends. Like, even if he doesn't necessarily get along with them all the time, he very much values his friends. Say with TK, because Davis was obviously jealous of TK at the beginning because of how close he was to Kari. He was was just really he wondered how TK could be so close to Kari, and because Davis likely didn't want to lose his friend, basically, because that's how I always interpreted that him, especially in the Japanese version, it's kind of considered romantic. I do, obviously Davis does have a crush on Kari, but I always saw it more as the reason why Davis was was always so what's the word, he was always so, I guess, wondering, jealous of TK. Why he was always so jealous of him was because he basically didn't want to lose Kari as a friend. That's how I always interpreted it, that. Kari was obviously his friend, and then all of a sudden this new guy comes in, he's already so close to Kari, and I really think that the reason why Davis was so kind of like I said, jealous of TK was because he didn't want to lose his friendship of Kari. But I kind of got off topic there a little bit. Sorry about that. But as I said, even though Davis is jealous of TK in that sense with TK's whole relationship with Kari, he never hates TK. He might dislike TK at times, but he never hates him. He still obviously considers TK as a friend. And we see this throughout the series. After Ken joins the group, and we see Davis his crush on Kari either whittles down, his crush on Kari isn't as big as it was before, or maybe Davis he just realizes oh, we can't I can't focus on my crush on Kari, we have to save the digital world, whatever the reason it is for why his crush on Kari kind of whittled down a bit. Once Davis does that, we see that he doesn't really he never actually gets into many fights with TK, or if any at all, and he doesn't really show a dislike of TK anymore either, because after to say the episode where Davis got Veemon to digivolve into X Veemon, they don't really fight a whole lot anymore. They don't really disagree on anything. They just after that point, both Davis and TK really become we really see they are friends. They become good friends after that. And and even early on in the season too, we see that Davis and TK are friends, despite Davis seeing him as a rival for Kari's affection, because in episode 7, where Davis and TK are going to save Kari from the city filled with Guardramon, while Davis might be a little bit jealous of TK, he's trying to go save Kari on his own. TK, they're obviously both still friends, because TK calls Davis out on the coin, and then he unintentionally teases Davis with Andromon, that there was champion and above that, and obviously that makes Davis want to make Veemon digivolve so that he can show up TK, and Davis obviously teases TK right back, when they're going to save Kari, and Kari says his name first, Davis teases TK about oh hey, Kari said my name first. So it's apparent that Davis and TK are friends, even if they don't always get along. And that's even more so shown during episode 8, when Ken obviously has the Bakuman pretending to be Kari, Yoli, Cody, and TK, and he's making Davis beg, which Davis does without hesitation, in order to try and save them. And once Davis does beg and try to save them, Ken tells him he can only save one of his friends, and Davis ultimately can't pick only one of them to save, and he actually struggles to try and even think about it, because he views all of them as, he views obviously Kari, Yoli, Cody, and TK, he views all of them as his friends and people he holds dear. So he instead opts to sacrifice himself in order to save them. And that really just goes to show how much Davis values his friends, and I feel that's what was meant to kind of go into this episode with obviously them trying to save Agumon, is that with Davis at least at this point in the story, Davis's like view on friends, like he even expresses it in this episode. Like he's not like really sure what friendship. He's like not even sure what friendship really is. Like he expresses that in this episode. Like when Ty and Matt like are saying like we had to fight Agumon, or like when Matt punches Ty, like Davis is like confused about it. He's like I don't. He's like saying like I don't get like how punching like your friend, or like trying to fight your, or like fighting against like your friend, basically how like that equates to friendship. Like he's very unsure about what friendship truly is, and that's like I said, like that's actually pretty similar to Matt, because Matt's really unsure. Matt during Adventure was unsure about what friendship was. So, and like obviously I think Davis's view on friendship at this time was something more akin to like that friendship is just like you guys are like, you guys are there for each other, you guys have good times with one another, you guys are just like overall just happy being around each other, and like even if you don't get along at times, you still always you're always happy to be in their company, basically. Like you wouldn't want to see them go away, or to see them do something horrible. Like that's I think what Davis's view on friendship at the time was, like before he actually got the degree of friendship. And throughout the episode though, like when Ken appears and has like Metal Greymon, and he's like they like have to fight against Metal Greymon, like Davis he doesn't like he's very unsure about it. Like he's like, how can I fight against Metal Greymon? He's our friend. And like when the Digimon Emperor gets Patamon, and like TK is ready to go in and try to save him, like Davis is like like contemplating like how strong their bonds really are, like with their Digimon, and he's wondering like like how can like what is this like basically this friendship thing, like he understands it to a certain degree, obviously, because he himself is obviously willing to sacrifice himself like he did in episode 8 to save everyone. He obviously understands friendship to a certain degree, but he doesn't understand it fully, and that's what this episode is meant to address, I believe, because like as the episode progresses, as they continue to fight against Metal Greymon, and Davis is just watching the whole time and seeing it, like he's contemplating like he's like seeing how strong their bonds really go, like to be willing to actually fight against your own Digimon partner and friend in order to try and rescue them from evil, like even if it means hurting them. Like Davis sees just how far the bond goes. And like, while he doesn't understand it, like at least right now, like he like realizes like like this is something I have to do. Everybody else is doing it. This is what Ty wants. I have to help them. And ultimately like Ty and Matt like all of them like say like you have to believe in us. You have to believe in Agumon. And obviously like Davis realizes like like I can't keep like just like standing around here doing nothing. I have to help them. I have to save Agumon. And like he obviously in the two versions are a bit different in that sense, because like in the English version he obviously just yells, "Vemon, I'm your friend." Yeah, and then in the Japanese version he actually yells, "I'm so pathetic." So like it's different between the two, but I think each one are meant to kind of have the same effect. And obviously that activates the crest of friendship, and using that, Davis manages to save Metal Greymon, and they go back to the real world. They go back to the real world with Agumon, and like Davis basically learns like in this episode like that he has to trust in his friends and he has to believe in them, but also like if anything were to happen to their friends, like that were to change them evil, that he has to be willing to fight against them in order to bring them back from the darkness. So yeah, those are Matt and Davis's two major developments. So where were really the similarities among them? And that's what I'm gonna. That's honestly what I'm gonna say is that the similarity I see majorly between the two is that it's mostly in the fact that like both Davis and Matt, when they were going through like this development, they both were very unsure about what friendship really was. Like they were both questioning it. They were both thinking like basically like just like what friendship really is. And like Davis was confused as to like how could you like fight against your Digimon partner and friend in order to try like basically because like it's like you could possibly hurt them. And I feel both like if you were to compare like both their development like side by side, like it would just like it'd be like remarkable how similar it was, because Matt, like I said, he doesn't know what friendship at that point in time. Like he was very unsure about what friendship really was. And he was questioning if friendship even really was a real thing. And obviously, at the end of it, through Gabumon, really, like through obviously his bond with Gabumon, that obviously like caused him to like realize, like, oh, I really do have friends. Like Gabumon's my friend, Tai's my friend, and like he finally realized what friendship really was, and like I feel like there's also like another similarity among it is the fact that both Davis and Matt had trouble like in this regard, like not so much like in understand. Well, obviously in understanding friendship, yes, but like also in actually like using and actually like getting the crystal friendship to activate, because during the Dark Master arc, like Matt, when like they were facing against what was that thing? It was I forget. It's that weird Digimon, like that Puppetmon has a servant. Like when they were fighting against that, and Matt tried to get Gabumon to warp Digivolve, like, and his crest wouldn't activate. We also see something similar to that with Davis, where when he tries to lift the Digi Egg up at first, it won't lift up. So like both of them are unworthy to actually use the crest at that time. Although like obviously Matt's is spaced like throughout multiple episodes. Davis is only in this one episode, but like both of them at first are unable to activate it. And when Matt like actually talks to Gabumon like about he doesn't know what to do. Like Gabumon says I'll always be there for you, no matter your decision. I'll be there with you. And because of obviously Matt's relationship with Gabumon, that causes his crest to finally activate again. And with Davis though, like it's kind of like a parallel to that. Like it's not like about like it's not really his bond with Beamon that causes the Digiegg to react, but it's more so his bond with everyone. Like that's a parallel you could draw. It's like while Matt's one is obviously through his Digimon, Davis's activation of the crest was through everybody, because like he obviously obviously Matt learned what the true meaning of friendship was. Like the big difference between the two is that like while Matt learned it, like Davis is like attempting to understand it. So like and with Tai and the others, like that's what he really does, is like that's what I think really activated the crest of friendship, is that like he realized that like obviously through Tai and all of them like saying believe in Agumon, believe in us, and like believe in yourself basically. Like he learned like that like while like it may not make sense, like while he may not understand it right now, like while he may not understand like having to fight against your Digimon in order to save him, is that he has to believe in his friends, and that that's what he ultimately does. Is like when he's like he's thinking about like how TK how deep their bonds are with their Digimon, how deep Tai and TK's bonds are, and like he's thinking like, oh, like I'm not sure like if I could ever have something like that, like, and he's not sure about what friendship is at all, but like ultimately like he like accepts like he's like when like he shouts that like that line when he ultimately activates the Digi-Egg of friendship, like either English like Beamon, I'm your friend, or Japanese is obviously I'm so pathetic. That's like meant to signify that like well here's what I think it's meant to signify, is that like while he might not understand it right now, it's that he accepts that like it's basically him accepting that he doesn't understand it, and him accepting that like that he doesn't understand it, but like that he has to, but he also accepts that like he also has to trust in his friends. Like he can't just like do it on his own. Like he can't just like be selfish and like just like do what he wants, like, and like not fight Agumon, because like he like is basically accepting that he has to hold faith in everybody else. Like, he has to believe in their idea of friendship, and like that while he might not understand it at this point, like he'll trust in them and he'll trust in himself that like this is the right thing to do. And yeah, like that's really the big thing I see, is that like Matt's one was finally understanding what friendship really means. Davis's activation of the crest was more so like him accepting that like he doesn't understand what friendship is, but he's willing to learn about it. Like he's willing to trust in his friends and ultimately find out the answer on his own. And that's what I think ultimately activated the crest. Like along with obviously the fact that he obviously is now willing to obviously fight against Agumon and try to save him. Like that's obviously a portion of why the crest activated, obviously, because like it's him like saying like like our friend is in darkness, we have to save him, like even if it hurts him, that's our role. Like it isn't like what we want, it's what we have to do. Like, and that's obviously a part of it, but I feel like what also activated the crest was because it was Davis, like, accepting that. It was Davis accepting that he didn't understand what friendship was, but, like, despite, like, his lack of understanding about it, like, at least at this point, it's that, like, he's willing to, like, believe in his friends and believe in their idea of it, and that he'll, like, even if he doesn't understand it right now, is that, like, he'll trust in them, in their idea, and, like, that he'll ultimately, eventually find it out on his own. Like, he'll eventually discover what what friendship truly means, and, like, yeah, that's really what I think about the two. Is that Matt's one was truly learning what friendship was. Davis's was the start of learning what true friendship really means. And Davis obviously does, like, learn what it means later on, like with Ken, where he's willing to accept Ken into the group, even though Ken had done all these horrible things. He's willing to be Ken's friend and ultimately let him into the group, despite enslaving Digimon and all that. I feel like, that's what really activated the Digi-Ego friendship. It was Davis accepting that he has to believe in his friends and trust in them, and that even if he doesn't understand it, he'll ultimately trust in his friend's belief in friendship, and that he'll ultimately find out on his own. I feel like that, along with him, like, accepting that he has to fight against Agumon in order to save him because Agumon is their friend, is what ultimately caused the Digi-Ego friendship to activate. And I just realized I kind of said the same thing 3 times in a row, didn't I? Oh, man. But, yeah. Ultimately, that's where I see the similarities between them. If you guys felt I didn't explain it enough, or, like, that I didn't explain it too well, let me know in the comments, because, like, I'm not too sure if I explained it too well right now, because I'm just, like, going off this base just very quickly right now, just based on my just, like, going, like, basically without just, like, me saying it, like, very quickly, just, like, off the top of my head. Like, if you guys feel like I said, like I didn't explain it too well, push it down in the comments below, and maybe I'll, like, add something to this video to better explain it. But yeah, ultimately, that's going to be the end of the video. So, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, maybe leave a like. And if you're enjoying the content I'm producing, maybe consider subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, thank you. You guys are awesome. I'm at 14 subscribers right now, thanks to you guys. So thank you for that. 14 subscribers is just freaking awesome. And yeah, ultimately, I will post my Symbiosis review hopefully pretty soon. Like, once I actually get the time to do it, I'll post a review on Symbiosis. And yeah, once again, thank you all for watching. I'm Alejandro Mendoza, and I will see you later. Bye.